Folks, if you own a concealed carry permit in America right now, I need you to stop everything you're doing and listen carefully, because what I'm about to share could literally erase your Second Amendment rights overnight. A wave of new gun laws sweeping across 12 American states is quietly stripping concealed carry holders of rights they thought were protected forever. We're talking about millions of law-abiding Americans, veterans, retirees, single mothers, small business owners who legally obtained their CCW permits, passed background checks, completed training, paid hundreds of dollars in fees, and now suddenly find themselves on the wrong side of brand. New laws they didn't even know existed. This isn't a drill. This isn't fear-mongering. This is happening right now in 2026. And if you live in any of the 12 states I'm about to name, your concealed carry permit may already be worthless in places you used to carry freely. The federal government, individual state legislatures, and even local city councils are working overtime to redefine what concealed carry means, and most gun owners have absolutely no idea their permits are being neutered piece by piece. So grab a notepad, share this video with every gun owner you know, and let's break down exactly which states are leading this crackdown, what laws just passed, and most importantly, what you can do to protect your rights before it's too late. To understand why 12 states are simultaneously cracking down on concealed carry in 2026, we have to go back to June 2022, when the U.S. Supreme Court handed down its landmark ruling in New York State Rifle and Pistol Association v. Bruen. That decision struck down New York's may-issue permitting system and established that the right to carry a firearm in public for self-defense is protected under the Second Amendment. Gun owners across the country celebrated, but anti-gun states didn't accept defeat. Instead, states like New York, New Jersey, California, Maryland, Hawaii, Massachusetts, Illinois, Oregon, Washington, Colorado, Connecticut, and Delaware launched what legal experts now call the Bruen response. Laws, a coordinated legislative strategy designed to comply with the Supreme Court's ruling on paper while gutting concealed carry rights in practice. They did this by drastically expanding what's called sensitive places, locations, where guns are banned, regardless of whether you have a permit. They added training requirements, raised fees, demanded social media disclosures, mandated character references, and created criminal penalties for even minor permits violations. By 2026, these laws have matured, multiplied, and are now being enforced aggressively. And that's exactly why CCW holders in these 12 states are waking up to a nightmare scenario where their permit is technically valid, but practically useless. Let's start with the two states leading this anti-CCW crusade, New York and New Jersey. New York's Concealed Carry Improvement Act, CCIA, which has been continuously expanded through 2026, now bans concealed carry in an absurdly long list of sensitive locations, including Times Square, all public transportation, subways, buses, trains, all parks, all theaters, all places of worship, all government buildings, all bars and restaurants serving alcohol, all medical facilities, and even private businesses, unless the owner posts a sign explicitly allowing firearms. That's right. In New York, the default assumption is that you can't carry, and the burden falls on the business owner to give you permission. Violating these rules is a Class E felony, punishable by up to 4 years in prison. New Jersey followed New York's lead with its own restrictive law in late 2022, and then doubled down in 2024 and 2026 with additional sensitive place expansions. Permit holders in NJ must now complete extensive training, provide 4 character references, undergo in-person interviews, and pay nearly $200 in combined fees. Carrying in a sensitive place, which includes virtually every public venue, is a third-degree crime carrying 3 to 5 years in prison. The message from both states is crystal clear. Even if we have to give you a permit, we'll make sure you can't actually use it. Moving west, California has become a textbook case of how to neutralize a concealed carry permit without technically banning it. Under Senate Bill 2, which took effect January 1, 2024, and has been expanded through 2026, California now lists 26 categories of sensitive places where concealed carry is prohibited, including hospitals, public transit, parks, playgrounds, stadiums, casinos, libraries, museums, zoos, places of worship, financial institutions, and any business serving alcohol. The California Department of Justice has issued repeated bulletins reminding CCW holders that violating these restrictions is a misdemeanor or felony depending on location. To make matters worse, California raised training requirements to a minimum of 16 hours, mandated psychological evaluations in some counties, and gave local sheriffs significant discretion to deny permits even after Bruin. Hawaii, the most isolated CCW battleground in America, went even further. After Bruin, Hawaii was forced to start issuing permits for the first time in decades. But the state legislature immediately passed Act 52, which bans concealed carry in banks, hospitals, beaches, parks, parking lots adjacent to sensitive places, and any establishment serving alcohol. Hawaii's law is currently being challenged in federal court, but until those cases are resolved, CCW holders face criminal charges for carrying in places most Americans would consider completely ordinary. Maryland and Massachusetts represent the New England mid-Atlantic axis of CCW restrictions. Maryland passed Senate Bill 1 in 2023, which created sweeping new wear and carry restrictions. Concealed carry is now banned in schools, government buildings, healthcare facilities, public demonstrations, polling places, stadiums, racetracks, casinos, bars, restaurants serving alcohol, and most private property unless the owner posts a sign explicitly allowing firearms. The Maryland law was partially blocked by federal courts in 2024, but is currently being relitigated in 2026, leaving CCW holders in legal limbo. Massachusetts, meanwhile, passed Chapter 135, one of the most comprehensive gun control packages in U.S. history, in 2024, with major provisions taking full effect through 2026. The law requires extensive in-person live-fire training, mandates a written exam, expands red flag laws, increases penalties for carrying in sensitive places, and even regulates ghost guns and certain firearm modifications that could affect CCW carry options. Under the updated Firearm Safety Certification Rules effective April 2026, anyone applying for or renewing a license to carry must complete the new state-approved training curriculum, adding hundreds of dollars in costs and weeks of waiting time. Massachusetts gun owners have filed multiple federal lawsuits, but for now, the law stands and is being actively enforced. Illinois has been quietly building one of the most restrictive concealed carry frameworks in the Midwest. The Firearm Concealed Carry Act, combined with the Protect Illinois Communities Act, PICA, passed in January 2023, restricts CCW carry in public transit, schools, government buildings, bars, casinos, stadiums, hospitals, and any property posted with the official Illinois State Police No Firearms sign. Illinois also bans the carry of many semi-automatic firearms entirely under PCA, which directly impacts what CCW holders can legally carry. Federal courts have upheld most of PCAA in 2024 and 2025, and the Will A law continues to be aggressively enforced through 2026. Oregon represents perhaps the most underrated threat to gun owners in the West. Ballot Measure 114, narrowly passed by Oregon voters in 2022 and tied up in court battles through 2024, requires permits to purchase firearms, not just carry them, plus completed safety training, a background check, fingerprinting, and a fee. Oregon's CCW process itself has become significantly more burdensome, and the state has been expanding sensitive place restrictions in cities like Portland and Eugene. If you're a CCW holder in Oregon, you now face a maze of state, county, and city-level restrictions that didn't exist just 3 years ago. Washington state has emerged as one of the most aggressive anti-CCW states in 2026. The state passed House Bill 1143, which created a 10-day waiting period and mandatory training requirements for all firearms purchases and Senate Bill 5444, which dramatically expanded sensitive places to include libraries, zoos, transit stations, county fairs, and any location where children gather. Washington also banned the sale of so-called assault weapons in 2023, and in 2026, the legislature is debating bills that would require permits to even purchase a firearm, a system similar to Oregon's Measure 114. CCW holders in Washington must now navigate one of the most complex sensitive place lists in the country, with violations carrying gross misdemeanor or felony charges. Colorado took a different but equally aggressive approach. In 2024, the state passed House Bill 24-1174, which fundamentally restructured concealed carry permitting. Starting July 1, 2025, Colorado CCW renewal applicants must demonstrate competence with a handgun, meaning live fire testing for renewal, not just initial issuance. Colorado also passed laws raising the minimum age to purchase firearms to 21, expanding red flag laws, and prohibiting carry in polling places, government buildings, and certain sensitive locations. For Colorado gun owners who thought permitless carry states were the future, the trend has clearly reversed in their own backyard. Rounding out our list of 12 states are Connecticut and Delaware, two states often overlooked in national gun law discussions, but quietly enacting some of the most restrictive CCW laws in America. Connecticut passed House Bill 6667 in June 2023, which expanded sensitive places to include polling locations, stadiums, parks, and public buildings, banned the open carry of firearms, tightened assault weapon definitions, and increased penalties for carry violations. Connecticut CCW holders must now navigate a permit renewal process that includes additional training and updated background checks. Delaware, meanwhile, became one of the latest states to require permits to purchase handguns under Senate Bill 2, signed into law in May 2024, with provisions phasing in through 2025 and 2026. Delaware also passed legislation banning so-called assault weapons, restricting large-capacity magazines, and expanding sensitive places where CCW carry is prohibited. Both states have made it clear that they intend to use every legal mechanism available short of an outright ban to discourage and limit concealed carry for residents of these 12 states combined. We're talking about over 120 million Americans whose Second Amendment rights have been functionally reshaped, restricted, or in some cases nearly erased over the past 3 years. Here's where things get really interesting, and where there's actually some hope for CCW holders fighting back. As of early 2026, the U.S. Supreme Court has agreed to hear multiple major Second Amendment cases that could either reinforce the Bruin decision or carve out new exceptions that empower state restrictions. SCOTUS blog and the Duke Center for Firearms Law have documented at least 8 pending federal cases challenging various state laws under the Bruin framework. The court is examining sensitive places, laws, felon in possession bans, and the boundaries of what states can and cannot do under the Second Amendment. Legal analysts at Constitution Center suggest the Supreme Court will likely reject the most extreme limits on concealed carry, but uphold certain narrowly tailored restrictions, meaning the legal landscape will continue to shift well into 2026 and beyond. In Congress, Senator Mike Lee has reintroduced the Constitutional Concealed Carry Reciprocity Act of 2025, H.R. 38 per second, 65, which would require all 50 states to recognize concealed carry permits issued by any other state. Essentially, creating a national CCW reciprocity system similar to a driver's license. Gun rights advocates argue this would solve the patchwork problem that traps CCW holders into unknowingly committing felonies when they cross state lines. Anti-gun groups like Everytown have launched aggressive campaigns to stop the bill, and its passage through the Senate remains uncertain, even with the current political landscape. So what do you do if you live in one of these 12 states? New York, New Jersey, California, Hawaii, Maryland, Massachusetts, Illinois, Oregon, Washington, Colorado, Connecticut, or Delaware. Here's your action plan, and I want you to take it seriously. First, know your state's sensitive places list, print it out, Memorize it, keep it in your wallet, or save it on your phone. Ignorance of the law is no defense, and a single mistake can turn a law-abiding CCW holder into a convicted felon. Second, renew your permit early, because waiting periods, training requirements, and processing times are growing longer every year. Third, join a legal defense organization like the USCCA, U.S. Law Shield, or your state firearms association. Because if you're charged under one of these new laws, your legal bills could easily exceed $50,000 to $100,000. Fourth, contact your state and federal legislators. Support the constitutional Concealed Carry Reciprocity Act. Demand your representatives roll back unconstitutional, sensitive place laws, show up to state capitol hearings, vote in every primary and general election. Fifth, educate other gun owners. Share this video with every friend, family member, and coworker who carries. The fight to preserve concealed carry rights is not lost, but it absolutely will be lost if law-abiding Americans stay silent. The 12 states cracking down today are the test cases for what anti-gun activists want to bring to all 50 states. Tomorrow, if you found this breakdown valuable, hit that like button, subscribe for daily gun law updates, share this with everyone you know, and drop a comment below telling me which state you live in and how these laws are affecting you. Stay armed, stay informed, and stay free. Because in 2026, that's the only way to keep your rights from being erased. God bless you, God bless America, and we'll see you in the next video. My fellow Americans, as we close out this critical breakdown, I want you to understand something deeply important. What's happening across these 12 states is not an accident. It's not a coincidence. And it's certainly not going to stop on its own. New York, New Jersey, California, Hawaii, Maryland, Massachusetts, Illinois, Oregon, Washington, Colorado, Connecticut, and Delaware have launched the most coordinated, well-funded, and legally sophisticated attack on concealed carry rights that this country has ever witnessed. And the most dangerous part, most law-abiding gun owners have absolutely no idea it's happening until they're standing in front of a judge facing felony charges for carrying their legally permitted firearm into a coffee shop, a public park, or a parking lot they visited 100 times before. The Second Amendment doesn't say the right to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed, except in sensitive places, except with extra training, except after paying $500 in fees, except if your state legislature feels like it. It says shall not be infringed, period, end of sentence. And yet, across these 12 states, that simple constitutional promise is being chipped away one statute, one regulation, and one city ordinance at a time. The strategy is clear. Anti-gun lawmakers know they can't ban concealed carry outright after the Bruin decision, so they're suffocating it with bureaucratic red tape, criminal penalties, and a maze of restrictions designed to turn every CCW holder into an accidental criminal. But here's the good news, and I want you to hold on to this. The fight is far from over. The Supreme Court is actively reviewing cases that could roll back these unconstitutional laws. Congress is debating national reciprocity that would protect CCW holders across state lines. Federal courts have already blocked portions of restrictive laws in Maryland, New York, and California. Grassroots gun rights organizations are filing lawsuits, lobbying lawmakers, and winning battles every single month. The momentum can absolutely shift back in favor of the Second Amendment, but only if law-abiding gun owners like you refuse to stay silent. So here's my final challenge to you tonight. Don't just watch this video and forget about it. Share it with every gun owner you know. Call your senators and demand they pass the constitutional Concealed Carry Reciprocity Act. Join a legal defense organization before you need one. Vote in every single election, from school board to president. Show up at state capitol hearings. Speak out on social media. Because the moment good Americans go quiet is the exact moment our rights disappear forever. If this video opened your eyes, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the notification bell so you never miss a critical gun law update. Drop a comment below telling me your state and how these laws are affecting your family. Stay armed, stay informed, stay free. God bless you, and God bless the United States of America.